So good morning everyone. So just give me a minute, we will be starting this session. Let me just share the video link. So guys, our current affairs batch is already on. Okay, so we have conducted one session yesterday. So you can ask the management for the demo. They will share the link with you, those who are interested in joining it. So you can easily figure it out what's the basic difference that we are creating in that batch. The Hindu will remain as it is. Okay, ये तो ऐसा ही चलने वाला है. So उसके अंदर you can easily figure it out what additional things we are providing to you. क्या कुछ अलग से हम लोग कर रहे हैं and how it will be beneficial for you in your exam. So we are making an effort at our end, but the same effort is also required from your side as well. Okay, तो आप और हम मिलकर साथ काम करेंगे तो आपका सिलेक्शन होगा. चलिए. So Chetu, Anshul, Mahi, Matu, Vaibhav, okay, Jatni, okay, Durgesh, good morning everyone. चलिए. So sufficient number of people have already joined us and we are already short of time. Okay, because that session is scheduled at 10, so you know we cannot delay it. So let's start it. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. So as we will be starting with this statement. So Dalai Lama, okay, everyone knows about him, and he says that the roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness. The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation of goodness. Now the point is this: you know that someone is good, but you have to appreciate that goodness as well, because that person will need that confidence, that person will need that appreciation. Your appreciation for goodness will help that person to sustain that goodness for the longer time. This is the point here, and the point is this: we as a human being, by nature we are good. Okay, some of us are distracted, वो थोड़े बहुत अपने रास्ते से हट गए हैं. But the point is this basic, you can say, aspect of humanity. If you see, we are good. All of people are good. There is some element of goodness in each and every individual. तो सब में कुछ ना कुछ अच्छाई होती है. The point is this: if you are appreciating that behavior, the other person will continue that behavior. This is what we want. And just think about it: if all of the humanity start going ahead with the goodness, with the good behavior, whatever problems that we are facing, not only just in the personal life but in other affairs, political affairs and in other areas, those problems can be resolved. The only thing that you require is appreciation for goodness. So this is what Dalai Lama is saying. Being good is just one thing. It's fine that you are good, but you need to appreciate others as well. Those are also doing good things in their life. You have to motivate them, you have to give them confidence. If you are a superior and your subordinate is doing something good, कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं आपके subordinates, so you have to appreciate it. That's the point here. This is what the whole thing is about. Okay, so don't, you can say don't, but just sit that you are doing things that are good. आप ये सोच के मत बैठिए कि that I am doing my task. Okay, fine. Your task is not ending there. You have to appreciate others as well. This is the point here, because everything is a teamwork. Okay, so this is what Dalai Lama is saying, and let's move to the major section. So Durgesh Kumar is asking, sir, current affairs batch fee. Okay, see, the batch fee is 499 for students who are part of our GS course. For students who are not part of our GS course, for them the fees is 999. Okay, 999, that is inclusive of all the taxes. तो 999 रुपये फीस है. Those who are, you can say, not part of the Raj Malhotra family. So those who are enrolled with us in the NCERT courses, for them the fees is 699. Okay, so this is what we have, and let's start this particular session. Let's see what exactly is there for us in newspaper. Now as you can see on the screen, inflation accelerates to 9.41%, highest since April. And reasons are already known to you. तो आपको कुछ एक reasons तो मालूम ही हैं, चीज़ें कुछ बदलती तो है नहीं. Okay, we have discussed it multiple times. Projection for India's growth rate has been reduced. IMF ने किया, World Bank ने reduce किया, RBI ने भी किया. one of the reason is that inflation is there. Okay, so as inflation is there, investors are not interested in this time. They want inflation to stabilize and then they will pick up the investment. So that's the separate story. But here in this particular article, few things are being pointed out, that what's the reason for the inflation, that right now this inflation is increasing, but the basic point is this, why? Okay, why, what's the reason? So you need to understand one thing, Ukraine-Russia war, the most popular event, okay, it has led to the increase in the fuel prices. No doubt in the last 1 week the fuel prices have gone down, थोड़ा stable हो गया है, fuel prices ठीक ठाक नीचे भी आ गया है, okay, but the impact of that reduction in the fuel prices, it will take some time. Say the impact will be visible in another 1 month, एक महीने बाद उसका impact देखने को मिलेगा, ठीक है, अभी तो सिर्फ तेल की कीमत नीचे आई है. The other point is this, because of this Ukraine-Russia war, the commodity prices increased, okay, commodity wheat prices, rice prices, वो increase हो गई यहाँ पे. That's the point here. Now, what's the solution that we have? So here you need to understand, inflation is high, it is really increasing, and when inflation is increasing, it is the poorest section of the society who is going to, you can say, deal with this, okay, who is going to pay the maximum burden, who is going to bear the maximum burden. तो जो poorest हैं, जो afford नहीं कर सकते, उनको सबसे बड़ा नुकसान होगा. Now the point is this will force Reserve Bank of India to further increase the interest rates, okay, it will force Reserve Bank of India to further increase the interest rate. Now friends, if you remember, yesterday, or you can say day before yesterday, there was one editorial in The Hindu, okay, तो एक editorial आया था The Hindu के अंदर. That editorial was pointing towards one thing, that it is now clear that monetary policy initiative that your RBI is carrying out, that is increasing the interest rate and all, it is going to have limited impact. तो इसका impact तो limited रहने वाला है, okay. Why it is going to be limited? Because Ukraine Russia are fighting, RBI तो रोक नहीं सकता जाके, ठीक है जी. We have seen inflation is not going down. RBI has increased the interest rate in the past. लगातार interest rate increase ही हो रहा है, but inflation अभी भी नीचे नहीं आ रहा है. So one solution that the other editorial mentioned is this: we have to enhance the productivity. Okay, we have to enhance the productivity in the agriculture sector. That this is the time we need to work upon this thing, because today's article points towards these particular things only. The present inflation that is increasing is primarily linked with the food inflation, because at present the food inflation is creating the trouble. It is the food inflation which is stretching the inflation in your country. So if you will increase the productivity, agricultural productivity, definitely supply will be there, okay, supply हो जाएगी, and that supply will be able to address the demand, the prices will go down. That's the point here. Look at these figures that are there in front of you. So at present the inflation in cereals, it increased to 11.5%, specifically in rural areas. Now it is irony that rural area is producing the cereals, okay, तो rural India में ही जो है agricultural काम होता है, and they are facing this inflationary tendency. So you have to work upon increasing the productivity of the farmer. That's the requirement here, because as productivity will be increasing, supply will be there, okay, demand will be addressed, inflation will go down. That's the point here. So this is what we need to understand. Same story is with the vegetables as well. Vegetable inflation is also virtually doubling. So right now it is nearly 18% in September. So you have to increase the productivity. Productivity increase करनी पड़ेगी आपको, okay. This is the point here. So this is the solution that the other editorial suggested, and today The Hindu came out with the data in front of you, okay. तो ये चीज थी यहाँ पे. So we'll move to the next point, that is there other news which is there on your front page, that is 22,000 crore for oil PSUs to cover LPG losses, okay, 22,000 crore. Now the point here is this, why these PSUs are, you can say, facing this trouble, and why do they need money? So the game is very simple. These PSUs, they cannot increase the LPG prices. Okay, if the LPG prices are increased, linking it with the international market, it will be difficult for the common man to use the LPG gas. To facilitate this, some additional subsidy is provided. Now, these PSUs, they have to make up for their losses. So here your government is going to assist them with 22,000 crore so that they can bear the LPG losses that they underwent. So it is quite clear. Now there is a debate that we have to understand. Is it right? Is this right move? Because it shows that government is trying to subsidize. कि सरकार तो सब्सिडाइज कर रही है. ओके, माय पॉइंट इज दिस सब्सिडी वैलिड? क्या ये सब्सिडी सही है? व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस? बिकॉज पीपल आर डिवाइडेड व्हेन दे आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द सब्सिडीज. जब भी वो सब्सिडी को डिस्कस करते हैं तो मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स they are divided about it. Okay, some of them will be saying subsidies should be there, some of them will be saying subsidies should not be there. What's your take on this? Okay, now the point that we have to understand, look how LPG cylinder can change the life of a common man, specifically the woman, because if they have to go for the alternative fuel, okay, LPG का alternative अगर वो ढूंढेंगे, it will be related to the woods, या तो लकड़ी लेके आनी पड़ेगी, or they have to go for the coal, okay, or whatever. Now the point is this, the prime responsibility, देखिए coal वगैरह तो हटा दो, if they are going to use woods, okay, so which is quite common in the rural areas. Now it will be the responsibility of the woman to go for the collection of the woods. So your one cylinder can bring positive change in the life of woman. Not only this, when the woman, she will be using that wood or coal for cooking, the smoke that will be produced, it will impact the health of the woman. तो वुमेन की हेल्थ पे भी असर पड़ता है बिकॉज उससे खराब स्मोक निकलता है. सो LPG इज रिलेटिवली अ क्लीनर फ्यूल. So if you are facilitating these LPG cylinders, it will make a big difference in the lives of women. This is the point you have to understand. Considering this, this subsidy is right. You have to make sure that LPG remains affordable for the masses. If not, they will go for the alternative fuel, which will impact their health. That's the point here. So this is what you have to understand. That's the logic that we have here. Okay, so we'll directly move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे चलते हैं, देखते हैं क्या है आज के editorial में. Okay, so here we'll directly move to the editorial section. चलिए, the court and the problems with its collegium. Okay, so you need to understand one thing. As at present there is a collegium. Collegium at present comprise of 5 judges, senior most, including the CJI. Okay, so CJI plus 5 judges का system चलता है यहाँ पे. Okay, and CJI plus 4 मतलब total they are 5 in number, and they take the decision related to the selection of judges. Okay, selection of judges to Supreme Court or High Court. Okay, तो Supreme Court और High Court के judges को select करना. Along with that, they look into ट्रांसफर ऑफ जजेस इन द हाई कोर्ट. ओके, तो हाई कोर्ट के जजेस की ट्रांसफर का भी काम कोलिजियम डिसाइड करता है. नाउ द पॉइंट इज दिस, इफ यू लुक इनटू दिस अरेंजमेंट, द प्रेजेंट सिस्टम, द कोलिजियम सिस्टम इज हाईली ओपेक. इट इज नॉट ट्रांसपेरेंट एट ऑल. द मेजर पॉइंट दैट इज रेज्ड इज दिस, इट इज नॉट ट्रांसपेरेंट. ओके, एक तो ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं है, ये प्रॉब्लम है. ऑन व्हाट बेसिस यू आर सिलेक्टिंग अ पर्सन एज सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज और हाई कोर्ट जज. So this is one point. Other point is this, now in India pendency of cases are huge. Even the Supreme Court is having this burden, the pendency is there, and Supreme Court is busy just with dealing with cases. It means that those judges, those 5 judges, they may not have a time, to sit, to go for the collegium meeting. उनके पास ये टाइम नहीं होगा कि कोलिजियम की मीटिंग अटेंड करें, मीटिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करें. एंड टुडेज एडिटोरियल इज पॉइंटिंग टुवर्ड्स दिस थिंग ओनली, that when UU Lalit, like the sitting CJI, he is going to retire in coming times. So he was there and his tenure was quite short. बहुत ही छोटे time के लिए वो judge बने थे, मतलब CJI बने थे. The point is this, he was not able to convene these meetings. That was the problem here. So you need to devise something different which can deal with these problems. First thing, you have to introduce transparency. See, we are living in a democratic setup and separation of power is considered important. No body of governance should dominate. But here it is appearing that judiciary is dominating, because judiciary is selecting the individuals, judiciary is carrying out transfers. So the point is this, absolute power is not right. So you have to devise a way so that even in this case, how they are deciding the names, those things are to be done in a transparent manner. There have to be some objectivity. कोई objectivity होनी चाहिए ना. There have to be some procedure. Okay. This is the point here. So this editorial is pointing towards this thing, that we need to establish a procedure to select and for transfer of judges and all. तो ये चीज यहाँ पे point out की है. Okay. Now how it is to be done, what are the systems that are available. Okay. So this is what this editorial is making an argument. So it is saying that if you look into this aspect, okay, so just give me a minute. Yes. So these were the major issues that I pointed out in front of you. Okay. Now it is considered that this collegium arrangement, it is extra constitutional because this is the judicial innovation. तो ये एक चीज तो ये है कि ये जुडिशियल इनोवेशन है. ओके, इट मींस दैट योर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज नॉट मेंशनिंग अबाउट समथिंग कॉल्ड कोलिजियम, कि भी एक कोलिजियम होगा जिसमें जजेस वगैरह होंगे, ऐसा आपका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं बोलता है. ओके, सो इट इज एक्स्ट्रा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और नॉन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी. दिस इज वन पॉइंट. Other point is this, your constitution mandates that president is going to appoint the judges, but consultation with the judiciary is mandatory. Consultation with the court, primarily the CJI, ये mandatory है. And to make sure that this consultation is done in an objective way with the participation of fellow judges, the idea of collegium was devised. कोलिजियम का आइडिया भी जुडिशरी के जजेस से ही आया है. मेजरली इट इज सेड दैट इट इज एन आउटकम ऑफ सेकंड जज केस. ओके, सेकंड जज केस आया था एक, उसका आउटकम था कोलिजियम सिस्टम. सो दिस इज हाउ सिस्टम वर्क्स. नाउ इन द पास्ट गवर्नमेंट ट्राइड टू प्रोवाइड अ सॉल्यूशन फॉर द ओपेकनेस ऑफ कोलिजियम. टू ब्रिंग इन ट्रांसपेरेंसी, government introduced 99th Constitution Amendment Act and they came out with something called National Judicial Appointment Commission. तो NJAC एक इन्होंने बनाया था, but the court declared it unconstitutional. The Supreme Court struck it down, stating that they cannot compromise on the independence of judiciary and they don't want intervention by the executive, specifically the political executive. So this is how it was done. Okay, this is how it was done. So ये चीज यहाँ पे की गई थी. Then you need to understand now what the solution we should come out with. कोर्ट इसको भी मानने को तैयार नहीं है. Debate didn't end there. There was this problem, the tussle was going on between the executive and the judiciary regarding the appointments. Okay, so they framed something called Memorandum of Procedures. एक document सा आया that these are the, you can say, things that we will keep in our mind while selecting these judges, this and that. But it is not a solution, it is not a, you can say, it is not giving an answer for transparency. Because Memorandum of Procedures, these were the guidelines that judiciary said that we will follow it. कि भी हम ये चीजें मानेंगे, ठीक है जी. Is it statutorily binding? क्या वो वाकई लीगली बाइंडिंग है? नो. मेमोरेंडम ऑफ प्रोसीजर है, बस. दैट्स द पॉइंट. सो दिस इज हाउ द प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन इज. सो वी नीड टू डिवाइज अ वे. नाउ देयर आर सम सजेशंस दैट वी कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट. If judiciary is having this problem that they don't want intervention by executive, why can't we have a panel? Okay, why can't we have a panel that will just comprise of member from judiciary? Retired chief justices, okay, retired chief justices or Supreme Court judges, they can be asked to be present, to be member of that panel, and that panel can select the names, because the sitting judges, they will not have adequate time. उनके पास adequate time नहीं है that they can scrutinize the profiles of different judges, कि अलग अलग judges की profile को वो scrutinize कर सकें, इतना time उनके पास नहीं है. This is the solution that we can work upon with. Okay, so this is the possible solution. This solution I am providing from my side. Now you need to understand by reading the other editorial, okay, the war against illegal goods as India fight. Okay, so it was a new information, new point of view that I learnt in today's newspaper. So basically, no one thinks about, you can say no one thinks in this way, that at present inflation is increasing. Okay, inflation is increasing, it means that prices are increasing. So as prices are going to increase, people will look for alternatives which are available at a cheaper price. सब लोग देखेंगे. Now the point is this, as inflation is increasing, people will look for cheap options. This will give rise to the illegal goods which are smuggled in Indian market. That's the point here. जब महंगाई बढ़ती है, people will look for the cheaper alternatives, and the outcome will be your market will be flooded with cheaper goods which are of inferior quality, fake brands. Okay, fake brands. That's the point here. Smuggled goods India में बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, and this smuggling is going on. There are lot of products that are dumped from China in Indian market. Those are illegal goods, Nepal ke through or through other routes. This is what is happening right now. So if inflation is increasing, there are chances that it will give rise to the underground market or illegal goods being brought to the Indian market. That's the point here, and this is what is happening right now. So here there is a statistics which says that if we look into this illicit market in India, it is valued to be 2.6 lakh crore. 2.6 lakh crore. इतना फर्जी माल हमारी मार्केट में आ रहा है, and it will impact the employment generation in your country. It is estimated that it is damaging the loss of 15.96 lakh employment. Not only this, your government is losing the revenue because of these illicit goods. क्योंकि ये पता तो लगता नहीं है, formal channel से आते नहीं है, formal channel से नहीं आते, it means that you cannot tax them. Government is losing nearly 58,000 crore as tax because of these illicit goods. So inflation से ये चीज भी होती है. This is also one of the outcome that we have because of inflation. So this is what you need to keep in your mind. Okay. Now the point that we are making, what should be done to deal with this situation? So basically only answer is this: we need to have a law that should be strictly implemented. Okay, उसको strictly implement करना पड़ेगा. That's the point, because we are poor at implementation. बाकी सब कुछ करते हैं हम, implementation हमारा खराब है. So this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Okay, that's the answer to this problem. The government has to devise a policy for this. एक policy तो लेके आनी पड़ेगी, बिना उसके बात नहीं बनेगी. So we'll move to the next editorial. So next editorial is pointing towards new ideas, okay, regarding the climate change issue. Now if you look into the past debates, okay, so next COP27 is going to be there. Okay, so recently COP26 was conducted in Glasgow, and the major agenda in the Glasgow was regarding sharing or transfer of technology. कि भी हमें transfer of technology करना पड़ेगा. Okay, you have to first develop the clean technology, and that technology has to be transferred even to the developing countries so that they can survive, they can carry out their development in an efficient way without polluting the environment. इस तरीके से वो अपना development भी कर सकेंगे और pollution भी नहीं होगा. This is what Glasgow summit was about. Okay, so there was optimism about it, because earlier Western countries, they were not interested in sharing the technologies, but right now ऐसा करना पड़ेगा. Okay, majorly right now we are focusing on these areas like non-emitting electricity generated by hydropower, renewables, nuclear fission, carbon capture and storage. Okay, so right now we are focusing on these things. So this editorial is pointing that whatever these things are, yes, they will be helpful in a certain way, but all this is going to remain inadequate. ये सब कुछ inadequate रहने वाला है. You have to address some other things as well. Other things like you have to address deforestation that is going on, because forests are the major carbon absorbing units. Forests सबसे ज़्यादा carbon absorb करते हैं. We cannot undermine their importance. So this editorial is saying that we need to have forest-led COP27. That in next meeting, this should also be included as an agenda, that you have to protect and preserve forest. That's the point here. There is another interesting point that this editorial is making, that some of the suggestions will be like this: we can plant more trees. Okay, एक तो ये बोलते हैं कि हम और trees plant कर देंगे, green belt बना देंगे, highways के आसपास पेड़ लगा देंगे. Okay, fine, but that's the artificial plantation. You cannot label it as a forest. उसको forest नहीं बोलते हैं, वो artificial plantation होता है. Clear? The point that they are making is this: forest has 40% more ability to absorb carbon than these artificial plantations that we carry out. Because these artificial plantation that is being carried out, it will be done through monoculture. एक तरीके के पेड़ लगा दिए जाएंगे. Forest is a living entity. Forest has diverse, you can say, plantation unit, flora. That's the point here. So there cannot be any match with the ability of forest to absorb the carbon dioxide. This is what we need to understand. That's why our focus should be to protect the forest. That's the point here. Because if we go by this thing, technology include karke, clean technology, this and that, MIT study says that it will take nearly 400 years to transform the energy system. Clean energy system लाने में 400 साल लगेंगे. Your earth may not even survive by that time. So we have to make sure that deforestation should be addressed. Not only this, you have to devise ways other than monoculture farming. इससे हटके आपको कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा. That's the point here. You have to preserve forests, because in the name of rapid urbanization, industrialization, we are cutting down these forest areas. We have to stop it. That's the point here. Because without forest, you cannot survive. We cannot protect our earth. We cannot manage the climate change. This is what the point is. Okay. So forest is not just about planting trees. It has 80% of the terrestrial wildlife. That is also part of our humanity only. Forest absorb nearly 7.6 billion metric ton of carbon dioxide. There is no match for forests. This is what the point is. So all these things are interconnected and we have to devise certain ways regarding it. This is what this editorial is pointing towards. So we have addressed these editorials. Okay, ये address कर दिया. War against illegal goods हो गया. Next is this, we need forest led COP. This is what we have done. Okay, ये हम कर चुके हैं. And there is another editorial, okay, which is like this page is there, which is regarding China's wolf warrior era. So you need to understand one thing. Few days back there was this term which was quite popular. It was regarding wolf warrior diplomacy. Okay, तो एक popular term आई थी जिसको कह रहे थे सब लोग wolf warrior diplomacy. Okay, so what this wolf warrior diplomacy was about? So basically that wolf warrior was a Chinese movie. Wolf warrior, if you see, it was a Chinese movie. So basically ये एक Chinese movie आई थी. In that the warrior was quite aggressive. So China adopted this wolf warrior as their foreign policy tool. That China is going to remain aggressive in protecting its interest. Whatever is the Chinese national interest, that is what China is going to protect, and they will be protecting it in a forceful manner, in an aggressive manner. So if you remember when COVID was just, you can say, starting to spread, some allegations were raised that this is the Chinese virus, this and that. There were criticisms of China, that China is hiding the information, not sharing it with the other countries, this and that. At that time as well, China was very aggressive. So that was the point here. So this is what Xi Jinping is coming out with, and he has a hold on Chinese Communist Party. It shows that this behavior of China is not going to change. China is going to remain assertive, okay, and China has arrived in the global politics, that it will try to make sure that the whole world works according to China. Why I am saying this? Because Chinese follow a doctrine of Middle Kingdom, that is, China is at the center of the world. This is part of Chinese mythology, okay, the concept of Middle Kingdom, that China is at the middle of the world and the whole world rotates around China on the instructions of China. China cannot occupy these territories, but China will try its level best to gain maximum influence in the global politics, because it sees itself to be at the supreme, and the whole world will look up to China. This is what their design, their thought process is, and Xi Jinping is already implementing it. So first goal is to the center of the world. This is what this logic is about, that they will aggressively go for this goal. Other point is this, the inevitable rise, that China is rising and its rise cannot be stopped. US and other powers, they may try their level best to contain that rise, but China is going to be rising not in a peaceful manner but with assertiveness. This is what China is doing right now. China is challenging the rules of global governance, stating that when those rules were framed, China was not consulted. China has this illusion that whatever rules that are existing in the global governance, those were created by the western countries, कि भाई वो western countries ने बनाए हैं और हम उसको follow नहीं करेंगे. This is what they are doing, this is what they are thinking. Great power rivalry, they are preparing for this. They consider US to be a major troublemaker, that the only nation which has the capability to challenge China is United States, and China is preparing for that. That's the point. They are strengthening their armed forces just to take on the mighty United States. Then relationship with India is important. Now among the Chinese strategic thinkers, there is a point of view that India is ally in making of United States, कि इंडिया जो है यूएस का अलाय बन चुका है. So they have considered this thing, that India will not carry out its foreign policy in an autonomous way. So India will be presumed as a challenging enemy, not only in the world but in Asia as well. And Chinese want dominance in the Asia along with the rest of the world. This is what the whole game is about, and they will be pursuing it by using the wolf warrior diplomacy, that is aggressive assertiveness, and this is what they are doing here, not only in diplomacy but also in the economic relations. They are aggressively working forward on this particular project, that is Belt and Road Initiative. That's the whole design of China. So it's a challenge for us, you have to prepare for this, okay. There is no choice, you have to deal with this powerful neighbor. That's the only goal that India should consider. चलिए, so आगे चलते हैं. So here on this particular page, okay, so next was regarding the grandeur of the Chola Empire. So in this editorial, in this article, it was stated that Cholas have come out with, you can say, really good art and other wealth for this country, but those things are not mentioned in detail in the textbooks. So it is important that this is the time that we update our textbooks and do this heritage that they provided to us, they need to be acknowledged by us. Okay, आपके education system में ये सारी चीजें होनी चाहिए. Now, India China hold consultation in Beijing's day ahead of the Communist Party Congress. Okay, so they will be discussing about few things. Major discussion will be around travel visas and the boundary dispute that is still going on. So वो सब चलेगा. Other than that, were objectives of the demonetization achieved? This is what Supreme Court bench is asking the center. Okay, and the lawyer which is defending the center is saying that Supreme Court should not ask these questions because this was a policy prerogative. Okay, कि भी ये policy decision था, सरकार ने लिया है, executive की prerogative होता है, and judiciary should not intervene in this. But court is definitely asking about this thing, that have you achieved your targets? And the same thing is being asked by the people as well. So government shifted the goals. Government said that objective to come out with the demonetization is to chalk the black money. The point is this: has black money being stopped in this country? Other point the government raised was that terror financing. Now the point is this: have we stopped terror financing? Other point was fake currency. India is free of fake currency. This is what the court is inquiring into, and the point is this: as a citizen of this country, we also have the right to this information, that whatever target that government set with the demonetization policy, have they achieved anything? Because it is the common man which paid the maximum price. जनता को सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान हुआ, वो लोग लाइनों में लगे हुए थे. So the government should be answerable to these things as well. So court is inquiring into it. Hopefully कुछ बता दें. Okay, that's the point here. Other than that, on this page there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं यहाँ पे. Okay, so here this is also your political page. There was a major controversy regarding Made in Pharma because like more than 60 children they died in Gambia. So काफ़ी लोग मरे वहाँ पे, काफ़ी बच्चे मरे, and this was a cough syrup. So as per the preliminary reports that are coming up, it is appearing that testing was not done. There was a serious lapse when it comes to regulating the quality of those syrups. और वो इंडिया से ही किसी रेगुलेटर ने उनको परमिट दिया होगा, किसी क्वालिटी अश्योरेंस करने वाला कोई ऑफिसर आया होगा और उन्होंने ही इसको अप्रूवल दिया होगा. सो वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट. दिस इज व्हाट करप्शन कैन डैमेज. ये करप्शन का आउटकम होता है. नाउ इट इज डैमेजिंग द रेपुटेशन ऑफ योर कंट्री एज वेल. ओके, तो किसी ने वो पास कर दिया होगा सैंपल दैट इट इज ओके. सो दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड टू इंप्रूव. यू आर डिवाइजिंग सर्टेन वेज, रेगुलेशन तो कर रहे हो, बट when it comes to implementation, we are really poor at it. Okay, this is what we need to understand. This is what we need to understand. So a day to explore the bear necessity. So sloth bear के बारे में बात की गई है यहाँ पे. So we are requesting the different countries that we need to celebrate Sloth Bear Day. Okay, so first World Sloth Bear Day was being, you can say, celebrated, and we are urging the neighboring countries and others to basically celebrate this occasion to basically conserve this particular species. Now there are few things that you have to understand. It is classified as vulnerable on IUCN red list. Okay, it is endemic to Indian subcontinent. अब देखो, if I am an examiner, if I want to frame a question, can I frame a question statement like this: sloth bear, okay, they are endemic to India. They are endemic to India. Now you need to understand one thing: this statement is going to be wrong, because here it is stating that it is endemic to Indian subcontinent. अब Indian subcontinent में बाकी भी तो countries आ जाएंगे. So other than India, there are other countries. Okay, Bhutan is there, Bangladesh is there, Pakistan is there. They are also part of Indian subcontinent. So the point here is this: 90% of the species is found in India. वो ठीक है, 10% तो बाहर भी मिल रही है. That's the point. And this species, it is being protected under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. It is having the same protection that tigers, rhinos and elephants are having. तो अच्छा खासा protection हम दे रहे हैं. Okay, I don't know whether you have seen this or not. So earlier, like 15 years back, I got a chance to watch, okay, 15-20 years back, I got a chance to watch dance by a sloth bear. Okay, So there was a person who was having a sloth bear who was traveling in the city and he used to make the sloth bear dance. तो वो चीज़ें अब थोड़ी रुक गई हैं. The different organizations are there which are trying to, you can say, rehabilitate those sloth bears. Okay, जो कैप्टिव स्लॉथ बेयर्स थे जिनको नाचने के लिए यूज करते थे वो चीज़ अब बंद हो गई है. सो इट्स अ गुड थिंग. ओके, इट्स अ पॉजिटिव डेवलपमेंट. सो अदर देन दैट, here is the international page in front of you. Now Putin is a rational actor but he misjudged the Ukraine. This is what Biden is saying. Okay, so Russia did miscalculated the outcome of the war. They didn't preempt that war will prolong so long, and today Russians are fleeing those areas. So Putin will definitely look for the face saver, and that's why Russia is now trying to say that it can provide gas to the via Nord Stream 2, that they are ready to provide gas to Europe. Okay, कि यूरोप को गैस वो देने को तैयार है. This is what the idea of Putin was, that when winters are going to be there, okay, there will be shortage of gas in Europe, and this is the time where Putin will impose its will on the Europe. That's the point here. तो यूरोप अगर कन्विंस हो गया कि whatever areas that Putin have captured कि भी वो areas रशिया रखेगा, so it will be a settled debate then. Okay, Ukraine cannot continue that war without the assistance from the West. और पीछे से अगर assistance रुक गई तो यूक्रेन के पास भी कोई ऑप्शन नहीं होगा to stop the war, to go for ceasefire. This is what the overall calculation is about. Okay, and this is what he is considering. So other than that there is nothing much. August industrial production shrinks 0.8%, inflation drags. Okay, so definitely inflation is one of the reason which is impacting the production, and the point is this: as the production is going down, manufacturing is going down, it is going to hurt the employment prospects as well. So don't consider that it is going to be, you can say, it is not going to create any trouble when it comes to employment. तो ये employment में भी आपके यहाँ पे असर डालेगा, and this is what the overall scenario is about. Hopefully data will improve after the festive season. Okay, so अक्टूबर नवंबर के अंदर जो डाटा आएगा, we are hoping that it will be fine. थोड़ा अच्छा आने की उम्मीद है, because it's a festive season. Demand in the Indian economy definitely picks up during this time, and when it comes to you can say economy, Indian economy, we are primarily dependent on consumption. हमारे domestic consumption से Indian economy चलती है. This is what the point is. That's why the festive season is really important. Okay, so we are hopeful that things will improve. That's the point here. चलिए, sir, please guide on what is first, second and the third case. Okay, so basically judge case आए थे. Okay, so the first judge case, the court established that the consultation with the judiciary is basically binding on the president. कि whatever, okay, whatever the word consultation means, देखो consultation की normal meaning में जाएंगे. So consultation doesn't mean that the president have to accept. Consultation मतलब भी हाँ ठीक है, उन्होंने राय दे दी अपनी. But court said that now consultation means concurrence. Okay, कि भी माननी भी पड़ेगी. Consultation means concurrence. Whatever suggestion is being given, it has to be accepted by the president. Then the second judge case, it says that the suggestion by the CJI, now CJI is not supposed to act in an individual manner. It will be basically, suggestion will improve not just the CJI, okay, along with two senior most judges, and this was sort of a formation of collegium. यहाँ से collegium की स्थापना हुई थी. Clear? Then there was third judge case. Third judge case said that collegium will now comprise of CJI plus 4 senior most judges. That it will comprise of 5 judges. कि भी अब 5 judges की आपको राय लेनी है. This is how it established a sort of reform in the judicial system of the country. So it's a really important thing. Okay, कि भी इंडिविजुअली CJI भी अपनी ना चलाएं. ऐसा हो जाएगा फिर तो CJI जिसको चाहेंगे उनको बना दिया जाएगा. And prior to the first judge case, it was the prerogative of the president. Prerogative of the president means जो सरकार चाहेगी उसको जज बना देगी. This is what was stopped, and it led to the facilitation of independence of judiciary. So basically it was very much required. I hope you are aware of this thing. When Indira Gandhi was the prime minister, she tried to meddle in the, you can say, judicial appointments. और बहुत सारे जजेस को मतलब 9th जज जो 9th लेवल पे थे सीनियोरिटी में, उनको नीचे से उठा के ऊपर CGI बना दिया था उन्होंने. So this is what judiciary don't want to happen again. That's why they don't want intervention by the executive. उनको एग्जीक्यूटिव से कोई इंटरवेंशन चाहिए ही नहीं, बिकॉज इन द पास्ट दिस इज व्हाट हैज बीन डन इन दिस कंट्री. So they learned from the past experience and they said that we cannot allow this thing to happen again. Okay, this is what the overall idea of judiciary is, and they said that the independence of judiciary is sacrosanct. But the point here is this is developing into the dominance of judiciary, and we cannot allow a particular organ of your government to have absolute power. So you have to devise a way to balance it out. वो चीज़ है अब यहाँ पे. Okay, this is what the overall debate is about. So that's it for the day again. Best of luck. Thank you very much. Okay, so 10 a.m. we have another session, so we have to wind it up. Have a great day.